Good evening, everyone. How are you? I can already see loads of you in the live chat, which is brilliant. So thanks for joining me. Pretty packed show really tonight. We've got loads going on. Obviously, Newcastle have played 2 games. We'll talk takeover because, like, we're sort of obliged to do that. Thank you as well to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. I passed 1,000 subscribers this week, which means it is a time for a giveaway. And we have got for you, for someone's going to win, this awesome book called Touching Distance, which is all about the season we nearly won the Premier League under Kevin Keegan. And I've also got 2 pin badges to give away from Magpin one. We've got this Martin Dubravka one, if I can just point it down like that. And we've got one that isn't even on sale yet. It's going on sale tomorrow at 12 o'clock. If you want to check him out on Twitter, Magpin1. It's a Newcastle away kit, and it's kind of a Marmite kit really, but the pin badge looks really cool, and someone's going to win all that stuff. And I'm going to tell you how you can win all that stuff in a little bit of time. I'm also going to be joined, fingers crossed, because it's the first time we've used this system tonight, by Lee Forster. If you follow Lee over on Twitter, you'll know who he is, but he's a good lad. If you saw my first ever live stream, or was it my second one? My second live stream, Lee was my guest on that week, and we chatted all things Newcastle. Let's see who we've got in the chat then. As you can see, it's pretty busy already, so let's have a little look. We've got Paul's here, Jabba Dabba Doo, welcome to you. Kieran, good evening to you. Connor, Noah as well, Noah Roddy. We'll come back to your question in a minute. Gordon Smith's here, and he's in the pub with their friends Carol and Malcolm, who are, if you've joined my live shows before, you'll know that Gordon Smith is my dad. So that's my mum and dad watching again, supporting me, and this time with their friends Carol and Malcolm. So hello to you. Kian's here as well. Yeah, good evening to all of you. Daniel, a few names that I've not seen before. Hamady, yeah, brilliant, thank you. So, first question really to you: how happy are you with the 4 points that we took from the first 2 games of the season? Let me know. Personally, for me, I think obviously really chuffed with the performance against Sheffield United. I think that obviously the red card helped us, but I think despite the red card, we played well, were worthy winners, and apart from we started slowly, but we always start slowly, but we won convincingly. Brilliant to see the 3 goals. I mean, Richie's was brilliant. So was Saint-Maximin's actually. The way he sort of anticipated it coming back across, and the run he made actually, if you watch it back, was really good. And then obviously Joe Linton scored his first goal at St James's Park, which was really cool to see. The Villa game, obviously a little bit more disappointing in both performance and result. I think that we, again, just didn't really get going, and maybe Steve Bruce should have rotated a bit more. We looked like a different team when Carroll and Gale came on, and obviously they linked up for our goal, which was really good. And yeah, it wasn't a really good game, was it? It was just a very average game of football, but we got a point, and I think 4 points from those first 2 games was fantastic. It really means that going into the weekend in the FA Cup, we can really focus on trying our best to beat Man City. Obviously they lost last night to Chelsea, and the Premier League title went to Liverpool, so congratulations to Liverpool. No doubt about that they are worthy winners, no doubt about that. You know, as much as we might not want Liverpool to have won the league, you know, some people might have wanted them to. I didn't. But, you know, someone's got to win the league, and they were definitely worthy winners this season, and I think Klopp has done an amazing job there. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about our 2 performances so far. Let's see. So, I'll just scroll back up these comments. Yeah, so Jonathan, he's noticed my T-shirt. I've got a couple of new T-shirts, actually. Dropkick Murphys. If you're into them, they're awesome. Shipping up to Boston. They're a band from Boston. They played a live gig. This T-shirt was. They did a live stream gig from Fenway Park, which is a baseball stadium in America. I think it's the oldest baseball stadium in America. And they did a really awesome gig about a month ago, and they sold these T-shirts afterwards, so I bought one. Yeah, go and check them out if you like punk rock and Celtic music. They're awesome. Let's see. Kian says, "Is there a way to enter the giveaway because I don't have Facebook or Twitter?" Okay, I'll tell you what, Kian, because I know that you're a regular sort of viewer. I'll make sure that you're entered. Okay. I'm not sure. Are you on Instagram? Because you can enter on Instagram too. I'll come on to it soon about how you can enter. Connor saying that we get good news regarding the takeover, and yet again we get a report that Jamal Khashoggi's partner is confident it will be blocked. Okay, I haven't seen that actually. Haven't seen that news. So if that's true, I don't know. I mean, I'm still confident the takeover will go through. I mean, I can't believe we are another week. I genuinely just can't believe that another week has passed and we haven't heard anything. I'm disappointed. But I'm still confident because I think if it wasn't going to happen, we would have known that it had fallen through. That's what I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there's going to be negative stories until it happens, and then there'll be negative stories after it's happened or not. Anyway, well, if it doesn't go through, then obviously they'll stop. But if it does go through, we're still going to get lots of negative stories about it. Peter says, Lee's here, Lee Forster. He's going to join me soon, hopefully anyway, so hopefully Lee can get logged in and we'll have a chat with Lee in a bit. Peter says, seen the pin is great, kit is horrible, almost as bad as the Hoops Away kit. Yeah, it is a Marmite kit. The second pin badge in the giveaway is a bit of a dodgy one. Right, I'm going to launch, as you know, if you've watched my shows in the past, I do like a good quiz question, and I've got a pretty good one today. I think I came up with this one, and I actually sent it to Peter Robson earlier today, and he didn't get it, but some of you might get it because it's about this season. So the question is, who was the last player to score a Premier League goal for Newcastle United in the Leazes End? Okay, so what was the last goal in the league that a Newcastle player scored at the Leazes End? Okay. Have a little think about that, and we'll give the answer out a little bit later on. Okay, let's just going through the comments. Andrew NUFC, he says really happy with 4 points from the first two matches, and he thinks we should have rotated against Villa as well. I agree. That said, I said in my match preview, and I sort of said it after the match as well. Actually, that. I totally understood why Bruce kept the same team because we played so well against Sheffield United, and don't change a winning team. But with the situation we're in with Project Restart, and lots of games in a short period of time, maybe it would have been better if he had just rotated a bit and rested a few players. I mean, in my opinion, Almiron was really quiet against Villa. He didn't impose himself on the game at all. Saint-Maximin was okay, but he didn't have that impact that he had against Sheffield United. And maybe tiredness was a bit of a factor of that. And getting up to match fitness, it takes a bit of time to get up to speed, doesn't it? So Peter Robson thinks it's a point more than we would have. That he thought it was a point more than we'd get. So he thought we'd obviously win one and lose one of the games. So I believe it might have been Peter who said that he thought we'd win against Villa and lose against Sheffield United. And actually, Sheffield United, with the position they're in the league, it wasn't as tough a game as we thought it was going to be, was it? They're kind of free falling a bit. They've had a terrible start since Project Restart because obviously they've lost. They drew to Villa, lost to us, and then lost to Man United as well. So they've not had a good time back. Phil Tate says 4 points. Saint-Maximin's the key. Yeah, he really is very, very good. Very good. Kean's happy. We could have lost to Sheffield if they didn't get the red card. They were all over us the first 30 minutes. I don't know if... Well, they were at the start of the game. And I said in my live stream on Sunday that they were getting too many corners and free kicks in dangerous positions. But with hindsight, we actually dealt with that. Those all pretty well. So they were a bit threatening. But I think from sort of 15 minutes onwards, I think we kind of imposed ourselves on the game. And then towards the end of the first half, we definitely were the better team. And then second half, we came out. Even before the red card, we were loads better. Kieran says, please, disappointed with the performance against Villa. Yeah, I think most people are. Hamed, good evening to you. Excellent start to Project Restart. Good results in fairness. 4 from 6, can't complain, definitely. Joe Linton, £20 million per goal, shocking return. It is, but I mean, look, he's not an out-and-out striker, and you can't defend some of the misses he's had. Apparently, he's had 43, 44 shots this season, so that even with that number of shots, his return is poor, I must admit. When is the takeover going to be done, says Dean. Your guess is as good as mine. I honestly don't have a clue. I really, really don't. So let me just go down to the bottom. Right. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to keep up with the live stream, but it's pretty busy tonight. So if I miss you out, I'm sorry about that. Hoping that Lee's going to join us soon. What I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the giveaway then and how you can enter it. So obviously, like I said at the start of the show, the prize for 1,000 subscribers. I'm over 1,000 subscribers now. Thank you so much. It blows my mind really, but I'm really pleased. So I thought I need to make this giveaway kind of worthwhile, decent, because it's quite a big sort of landmark in YouTube terms. So what I've got is this awesome book called Touching Distance, and it came out about 3 years ago, and it's all about the season when Newcastle United nearly won the league in 1995-96. It's the Keegan team, just the best Newcastle team I've ever watched, had the privilege of watching. They were so good. We should have won the league that season. It's a travesty that we didn't really. So there's that, and then we've got 2 pin badges as well. So we've got this Martin Dubravka pin badge, okay, and also the next pin badge that Magpin1 over on Twitter is releasing tomorrow, which is an away kit, which is this one, and this is how you can enter. Okay, so we have got, can you see it there? It's that away kit. I forget what year it's from, actually. Someone will tell me in the comments what year it's from. Let me know. Oh, it says it there, 97-98. It says it on the actual thing, doesn't it? So 97-98. So this is how you enter. Really simple. All you need to do, because I kind of like to keep things simple. You can enter on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. You can have 1 entry per platform. Okay, so you can enter up to 3 times. All you have to do is message me, and you can do it private message or on the main feed, any way you want. Just message me on one of those platforms using the hashtag Ian1000comp. Okay, so you can see it there, it's in yellow. Just message me on that, and then you will be entered. The closing date and time is full time against Man City on Sunday. Okay, so you've got until full time against Manchester City to enter, right? So that's what, a couple of days, 48 hours, something like that. So go and enter, start entering. I'll put this information up again a bit later on. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention also that with the Dubravka pin, you get 2 oh, can't see it, Martin Dubravka stickers too. How cool are they? So you get 2 stickers as well. Awesome. So there we go. Let's see what people are saying. Chris NUFC, I'm fine, Chris, thank you very much. Gallagher Shots is here, excellent. He's only here for Lee. Okay. At least you're honest, I'll give you that. Go and check Gallagher Shots out. I'm sure all of you have heard of Gallagher Shots anyway. They've just passed 5,000 subscribers this week. Their content is excellent. Go and check them out. Great guys and girls over there. Yeah, go check them out. Noah, how do you think the takeover will affect the Premier League, and when do you think we will secure European football? Well, if it happens, then obviously it puts it. I hope that it puts another good team up at the top of the table. So hopefully it puts us into that top bracket within 2-3 years, and I would expect. Nothing's ever given, of course, in football, but you would expect with the right management, the right recruitment, you would hope that Newcastle could be playing European football again in maybe 2 or 3 years. That's what I would think. So yeah, I don't know, what does everyone else think? Does everyone agree with that or not? Do I think Philippe Coutinho will be helpful in Newcastle? Well, if we got him, yeah, because he's better than some of the players we have. So definitely getting some entries into the quiz question. I'll flash that up if you haven't seen it. So this is the question I set about 10 minutes ago. Who was the last player to score a Premier League goal for Newcastle at the Leazes End? Go and check that out. Okay, go and check that out. Yeah, go and do your research is what I mean. I don't know. What am I saying? I'm losing track because I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm hoping Lee is going to call in soon. Lee, get called in. Come on, we'll have a chat. Jason Carter, let's talk about Lascelles. He's the Joe Linton of our defence. He goes through games and hides behind his teammates. Ooh, is that an unpopular opinion? I think it might be. I don't agree. I mean, he's maybe not our best defender, but I think he is. I don't think he's bad. And actually, I think our defensive record is pretty good, and Lascelles has played a lot in that. So I don't know. What do other people think about Lascelles? They think he's kind of just not as good as we all want to believe he is. Lee's trying to dial in. Great. I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen. I'm going to just quickly check the code that I've given you, and then because I really want Lee to come on. So let me just check that the number's right. It is right. So that's a shame. So I don't know what to do. Keep trying, Lee, and we'll see if we can get you on. I can't. I'm kind of stuck because I'm presenting, but hopefully Lee will come on. Refresh it. Reboot your machine. Turn it off and turn it back on. Hamidi thinks I should start to learn Arabic. Might need to if this goes through. The amount of Saudi Arabians who have kind of been active on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, then is mad. Gallagher shots. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully link up with you on Sunday. Yeah, fingers crossed. So I'm hoping after the Man City game that I'll be joining Emil over on Gallagher shots after the match for their extra time talk after the game. So that should be fun. So go and check that out. Now Phil Tate, he says the thoughts on the 97% letter from the NUST. Now, if you're not sure what this is, the NUST wrote to the Premier League earlier this week, and basically urging them to make sure the takeover goes through, because 97% of Newcastle fans are in favour of it. And Phil's kind of the opinion that it kind of makes us... It shouldn't have happened because it makes us look like we're desperate for anyone to kind of take over, and we're not bothered about the issues with Saudi Arabia in terms of, you know, all the stuff we've heard about human rights and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think? Are you pleased that the NUST, do you support that, the fact that they wrote that letter to the Premier League urging them to accept the takeover, or do you think that it's not great? It kind of gives us a bad look, and it kind of gives people ammunition to aim at Newcastle fans in the future if it goes through. You know, it'll always be, oh well, 97% of Newcastle fans were happy that this, you know, awful regime are taking over your club. So what do you think about that? I'd love to know what you think about that. Matthew Atkinson says, without Dubravka, Fernandes, Hayden and Alan Saint-Maximin in the lineup, we'd be a much weaker side. Yeah, I guess the thing is, I guess if you take any team's good, like, best players out, you're going to get weaker. So, I mean, obviously our squad's not as deep as other teams, but, you know, what other teams could afford to lose 4 or 5 of their best players in the Premier League? You know, apart from outside of the top 6, probably not that many. Mark Parker, he says he rates Lascelles, thinks our defence has been the main highlight of the season. I said this the other day. I said, you know, the fact is, if it wasn't for our defence being as tight as it is, we probably wouldn't have as many points as we do. So yeah. Oh, Lee's appeared. Lee has appeared. This is excellent news. I'll get him on in a second. I'm just going to let him set up. So what do you think? I'm going to I'll put the league table up really quickly so you can see how we're doing. So, who genuinely believed that after 31 games we'd be sat on 39 points this season and not in a relegation battle? And, a big part of that, in my opinion, is down to the defence. I really do believe that. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy. And look, I mean, 3 points off 10th? Could we finish in the top 10 with the games we've got left? Possibly we could. I don't know. So what do you lot think? Do you think we could do that? Noah, mate, I'm proud to say Ashley can leave. I'm a 15-year-old kid from down south and haven't seen any good football apart from the last season. Yeah, quite often people sort of make the comment about how we've got like a lost generation, if you like, and that's maybe a little bit unfair. But I've got a daughter who's 18, and she's grown up just with Ashley, and I'm sure lots of you who are watching will have children who are like teenagers or are teenagers yourself. And yeah, you've never. I feel bad that you've never experienced any good times, because in my lifetime I was lucky enough to have from sort of 1992, 93 to kind of, like 10 years. We had a really good 10-year run, apart from 1 or 2 seasons where it was just like awesome, and we've got so many memories and loads of good memories in it, and that's my experience. And I genuinely want the rest of the fan base who haven't experienced, nights like Barcelona, games like 5-0 against Man United, playing in the San Siro. I want the rest of the fan base who are younger to experience that. It's really, really, I just think it's really important. Lee, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Yeah, good. I'm going to bring Lee on. Here we go. Hopefully he's there. Good evening, Lee.
Evening. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, sorry, what you call it. The app that you were using wasn't playing on the laptop.
Ah, right. So you've switched devices.
Yeah, so I'm on my phone.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate it.
All right. Congratulations on 1,000 followers.
Yeah, thank you. I'm over the moon, really, genuinely. Like, it's great. But I'm not going to stop there. Hopefully, just keep going and see what we can do. See if we can get more. So I know that you're obviously not that far away from where I'm sat right now, and we've just had a bit of a thunderstorm here.
Yeah, thunder and lightning.
So hopefully the internet connection will stay solid enough. We'll see. You got your beer. I've only got water again. Got my favourite BFG muglet. So Lee, how do you feel about the project restart so far?
Surprised. I thought genuinely that we would be one of the most underprepared teams in the Premier League. The Sheffield United game just blew me away. How fit, how fresh they looked. A couple of players in particular. I thought Rose looked good. I thought Rose looked quite fit. Shelby got up and down for the full 90 minutes against Sheffield United, which really surprised me. That performance just wasn't expected. I think it was going to be hard for them to keep it up against Villa. For another game 3 days later, albeit every other team's also having to play game after game, back to back to back. But if you'd offered me 4 points from 6 when we went into those 2 games, putting us on 39 points, I would have taken your arm off. Absolutely taken your arm off. Yeah. Effectively, we're 12 points clear, 13 if you count goal difference. We're safe. We're safe now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I agree about everything you've said. I agree about the 4 points from 6. I agree about the fact that we're safe. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, it's not going to happen that 4 teams or whatever are going to get so many points to overtake us. It's just not going to happen. So obviously delighted about that. Interesting you mentioned Danny Rose in particular, because it's quite interesting the reaction to Danny Rose. I think there's some fans out there who have just got it in for him regardless of what he does.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I thought he played pretty well. And
He's taken a bit of stick. I think he was taking a bit of stick before we even kicked off, because those photographs were doing the rounds, weren't they, on Twitter and
totally,
on social media of him in training. He was obviously carrying a little bit of timber.
yeah,
But
but
I mean,
still
even
fitter than
on
us
Wednesday
lot.
night.
Oh, is he frozen? Have you frozen, Lee? Oh, we'll just give Lee a minute, see if his stream catches back up to him. But yeah, I think what he was saying there was Danny Rose was kind of looking. There was that picture of him, wasn't there? That was kind of doing the rounds where he looked, maybe it was the angle, who knows? But he kind of looked like he wasn't match fit. But at the end of the day, he's a Premier League footballer, fitter than us lot. And I can see other people sort of saying that Rose played really well against Villa. So, he's come back. All right, you back?
Yeah. Telling me that you disconnected me.
Oh no. Oh well. I hadn't. I was
Right,
listening
okay.
to you.
Right.
I don't know. I hope I've not got internet issues again. Maybe this Friday night things aren't working. I don't know. Anyway, right. Looking forward to the weekend then. Obviously, Man City. We can put full attention on that. What do you fancy?
I fancy watching it from behind the settee.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, listen, when it was supposed to be Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff back in March, I had my tickets bought, and I thought to myself, we'll give them a game. We gave them a game at St James's early this season. 52,000 ragged up Geordies in the ground, or 45, because City would have had to be given 7,000 tickets. I thought we'd have had a shot. Taking that out of the equation and just having effectively what's like a training game, that City's technical ability is going to tell. I really do think City's technical ability, and I know they're without Aguero, they're without Fernandinho because he got sent off last night, but I just can't see us giving them I hate to say it, but I could see them running out 2 or 3-0 winners, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, we all want to win clearly, but at the end of the day, it is that unknown that the crowd give you, isn't it? That kind of extra, the old cliche of the 12th man. It really is a thing, I think.
City wouldn't have fancied coming to St James's Park on a Saturday night.
No.
When everybody's been on the air all day.
Yeah. Well, just look back to November.
They wouldn't have fancied it. We've given them a good game for the past couple of seasons, but as I say, I just think taking that element of the match away has really sort of given them that advantage. Not that they need any help.
No, unfortunately, and at the end of the day, they've got a much better squad than we have, and we've just got to do what we can and hope we put a performance in.
Don't get me wrong, I'll still be effing and blinding at the telly from 6 o'clock on Sunday night. I'll be screaming the house down, hoping that we can sort of pull it out of the bag. I'm not expecting anything. I think any Newcastle fan expecting anything might be in for a bit of a letdown.
They're going to be disappointed, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they're expecting a win. Although this
Yeah.
week's been great, like it's felt like I think people have been really optimistic this week for the first time in ages about the team, because I guess because of the Sheffield result, but and I know the Villa result didn't quite go as we wanted, and it kind of felt like the takeover was edging closer, and now it could all kind of start going down again with the FA Cup game and no announcement.
Yeah, I know. I genuinely don't know what's going on with that takeover. It's got to the point where it's become a farce. The Premier League's looking very, very bad in all of this. They look very incompetent because it's just allowing more and more spotlight to be shone on them. It got to the point where I'm at a loss for words. I see Khashoggi's widow's had an interview with a tabloid.
Yeah, someone mentioned
tonight.
Someone mentioned that before. I'd not seen that news, but it's like an endless cycle, isn't it? And it's like things repeating but I just can't understand how it's not done. Either way.
Without wanting to sound like the victim, I think had this genuinely been, and you've seen comments like this, had this genuinely been a top 4, 5, 6 club, I think it would have been done by now, one way or the other. I'm not saying it's going to pass or fail. Yeah. But had it been an Arsenal or a Chelsea or a United or a Liverpool, this would have been done. It wouldn't have been allowed to drag on for so long.
Yeah.
Project restart or no project restart. I just think this Premier League now are starting to look very, very bad in all of this.
Yeah. I mean, someone tweeted yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but they said this. It's been a quarter of a year now. It's a quarter
Yeah,
of a year since
yeah,
it started. So we've had a quarter
yeah.
of a year of being excited about it, and it's just rubbish. I mean, hopefully we'll get some sort of resolution soon, but we just
Yeah.
don't know.
We keep saying that, don't we?
Yeah, and it's like every week, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that by now it would have happened, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just looking at the comments in the stream, so a few people giving their match predictions. Where are we? Someone thought we'd lose 4-0. I lost that comment. Where is it? Kean hopes we can nick a 1-0. Obviously, if we do win, then it'll be scrappy, won't it? But you know, I'll take anything. I think we'll scrap a 2-1 after extra time. Oh yeah, I'm assuming the game just goes straight to extra time if it's a draw. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. There can't be replays in this situation. Yeah. Let's put the other semi-finals up. Actually, have a quick look at these and see who you think's going to get to the semis. Let's have a look at this. So let me see. So what do you reckon, Lee? Who do you fancy from the other games?
Leicester haven't looked fantastic since they came back, so I'd take Chelsea out of that first one.
Yeah.
I don't think the break did Leicester any good, whereas Chelsea have looked fairly strong. Obviously, they turned City over last night.
They did, yeah. Did you watch the game?
Villa, yeah.
Were they good? I didn't watch it, but
Chelsea again. I think they're another one who's benefiting from the empty stadiums because they're a very technical side. And the technical sides in what are effectively being played out like training matches, the technical sides will have a benefit because there's not that third party element of the support. So I'll take Chelsea in the first one. Sheffield United again. That's another team that who really didn't want the 3-month break. They've come back, and they can't buy a win.
They've lost all their momentum, haven't they?
Yeah, and Arsenal look good at Southampton last night. Yeah. So you're going to take Arsenal there, and I can't see the fourth one because it's on the screen.
There's Norwich Man United.
All right. Well, you're looking at Man United all day. Yeah. You're looking at Man United all day there.
So
Man
you're
looking at
Chelsea.
Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United.
Yeah, we don't even need to bother playing, do we? It's a sure thing. just give us the win. Yeah, Man United, Arsenal. Interesting. That's all 4 away teams that you've chosen there.
I think again you've got the crowd. The crowd's been taken out of the
big factor
equation, hasn't it?
Big factor, yeah. I think so. What does everyone else think? Does anyone think they disagree with Lee? Matthew predicts Toon 6, Man City 4. Yeah, right. Lots of people asking what I teach. I'm a primary school teacher, so there you go. That answers that question. So Kean thinks Man United, Chelsea, Sheffield, and hopefully us. Yeah. Peter thinks Man United, Chelsea, Sheffield as well, and City. So a few people picking Norwich over Man United. That's interesting. I wouldn't pick that. I just think Norwich are not very good. Certain for relegation, and I can't see. To be fair to Man United, and I'm a bit of a critic of Solskjaer. I think that they've come out playing pretty well again. Maybe a better squad benefiting from this kind of situation. Yeah.
Taking the fans out of the equation has a big impact on players. Yeah. I mean, Joe Linton's a case in point, isn't he? I mean, if he missed that chance against Sheffield United last Sunday and you had 50,000 of us screaming at him, he'd have gone into his shell.
Yeah, would he have scored? Yeah.
Yeah. So the crowd can't underestimate the impact the crowd can have on teams and players.
Yeah. It'd be really interesting, actually, and I'm sure someone will do this, but it'd be really interesting to analyse all the results from these top European leagues, because I know that the Bundesliga, when the first 2 weeks, there was barely any. There was lots of extra away wins, weren't there? There was lots of the percentage of away wins was higher, so it'd be interesting to see if that kind of bears out over this like last 9-10 games sort of thing.
I
Some
think
people
it will.
really believing that we're going to be the winning team.
I hope so. I
I
don't want
love
to
the
be a
optimism.
pessimist.
Yeah,
I-
you've
I'm
got to
not.
be. You've
I
got
don't
to.
want
You've
to
got
be a
to be
pessimist. I'm
optimistic.
more of a. I'm just being a realist.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you know, one of those things, isn't it? Expect nothing, and then if you get something, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jan's just saying Carroll and Gale to give City a good game. Would you start? Who would you start up front? Would you start Carroll and Gale, or would you start one of them and not
I
the
think
other?
it's either got to be, if we're going to go two up top, it's got to be either Joe Linton and Gale or Carroll and Gale. Somebody mentioned to me on Twitter the other day about starting Joe Linton and Carroll up top together. Now, we experimented with that against Palace back in December, and it blatantly didn't work.
Yeah.
Blatantly didn't. They're far too similar in terms of stature. You need the big man, small man partnership. For me, if I was going to, I would go Carroll and Gale. Yeah, I think give Joe Linton a rest. Carroll looks an absolute menace, and he looks fit.
Yeah,
He
but the
does.
thing with Carroll, I kind of, in a sense, I didn't forget, but like when he came on against Villa, I just sort of realised how good a player he still is. It's just if he
Yeah,
just could just stay fit for a prolonged period of time,
yeah.
he is a good player. There's no doubt about it.
He's got
And
a hammer of a left foot.
yeah, yeah, but like his technical play too, like the way he got the ball on the wing and then played it into Gale was, I mean, that's class, really.
Yeah, what was up with Gale when he scored? Anybody got any ideas?
Very odd, wasn't it? Yeah. Does anybody know
Really
that? Does
strange.
anybody have a clue why Gale looked so miserable when he scored? It's just bizarre. I love it. Well, I don't love it when players do that, but it's sort of interesting when players do that, isn't it? Obviously, the famous one was Ketspire for us, wasn't it? When he scored and then just went mental, booting everything, booting everything. Lot of people saying Joe Linton's not very good.
I think he's been. I think he's been served. He's been hung out to dry a little bit by Bruce. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. He's playing up top on his own. He's playing in a team that sort of sits back and invites pressure. So invariably, he's up top on his own with no support. It allows the opposition's defenders to just sort of bypass him using triangles and short passes. His language style doesn't do him any favours because he doesn't look like he's trying.
Yeah.
And he's just literally chasing shadows all the time when he's playing on his own. He came off on Wednesday night. Bruce had Gale and Carroll up top. Yeah, and he must look at that and think, well, I'm playing 60 minutes on my own, running around chasing shadows.
Yeah. He would like some support.
I'm not saying he's a world beater, but I feel for the lad at the moment. I don't think he's getting a good deal.
I agree, and I've sort of said as much as well. I think, you know, it is circumstance, and I think that he's not, like you say, why not give him a chance with someone else alongside him? It's sort of like, I agree, he's not worth £40 million. We can probably all agree on that. But first of all, he didn't ask to be paid that much for, and secondly, you know, he's in a system that doesn't create much on his own.
Yeah.
So any striker would struggle in that position.
Yeah.
But lots of people...
He's still being shite.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, I think, like I said earlier, I don't know if you caught it, you know, apparently he's had 40-something shots this season. So you'd still expect, with 40-odd shots, a striker to be scoring more goals than two.
Yeah.
Gale wasn't happy about being kept out of the team for so long, Keith says. Maybe. I don't know. He's a funny one, Gale, but I've kind of said this before as well. I'll keep repeating myself, but I think with the games we've got left, Gale's a good option for us if he's fit, because in my opinion, he's like a good Championship striker. Like he's almost too good for the Championship. Maybe not good enough for the Premier League, but the games we've got left, he's capable of scoring against teams like Bournemouth and Watford and West Ham, you know. So I wouldn't mind seeing him get a few games as well.
He's lost a yard of pace. I think Gale is one of Gale's main weapons. Used to be his pace, but he's lost a couple of yards of pace. I think it's probably because of the injuries that he's had over the past 2 or 3 years. Apparently, I read somewhere that goal on Wednesday night was his first goal since the Barnsley goal in the last day of the season in the Championship.
Really?
That was his first. That was his first goal at St James's Park, as far as I'm aware. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow.
Since the Barnsley game in the Championship.
Yeah, I can't think of any. So it could well.
Admittedly, he was at West Brom.
He did. He had a season away for us, but still a long time, isn't it? Still a long time. Let's see. I just saw a comment that I wanted to read out, and I've lost it now. I can't see it. Never mind. I've lost that. We won't be as dominant in midfield. Matthew says if we play two up top. I reckon Carroll up front and let Maximan or Almiron making runs ahead. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, football's weird, isn't it? Because, like, it's really common just to have one striker these days. Whereas, you know, like 15 years ago, you'd always have two strikers. It's really interesting how the game's changed with all these fluid formations, really, that have come into the game. Andrew thinks he scores against Chelsea last game of the season, 17-18. I don't know if that's right.
Quite possibly. As I said, I may be wrong. It was just something I'd heard.
Just while we're... I'll just put this question up and I'll give the answer as well for the quiz question tonight, which is, who was the last player to score a Premier League goal for Newcastle in the Leazes End? Any idea, Paul? Lee? Why am I calling you Paul?
No, that stumped me. I was thinking, was it against Everton on Boxing Day? I literally can't think of one.
It was even earlier than that. I think a couple of people did actually get it in the...
Wasn't Lascelles against Wolves, was it?
No, it wasn't. I'll put you out of your misery. Let me just get the answer up. Hang on. So, anyone got it? Yeah, Matthew's got it there. And Peter Robson, Williams against Man City, against our opponents from on Sunday. In the game against Man City. Wow. Unbelievably. 30th of November, like 7 months ago. 7 months ago. Can you believe that? It's mad, that, isn't it? It's just...
I was sat racking my brains, I couldn't think.
Yeah. I had to go back and look at all kinds of YouTube clips and everything just to make sure that I'd checked it right. But it just made me think, because obviously the 4 goals we've scored so far have all been in the Gallagher end. And then we had like the 0-0 draw with Burnley, with the 0-0 draw before that. And like, I was thinking that must be some time since we've scored. And then when I looked, it was... Yeah.
Against Chelsea.
Yeah. Gallagher. So Almiron.
Crystal Palace.
The Gallagher, obviously. You know, it's mad. So Peter, Peter, well done for getting that right. You sobered up enough. So well done if you got that right. I think impressive really that it's 7 months. But there you go. Maybe he won't score against Man City tomorrow, but maybe someone will score against Man City tomorrow. My dad's giving me some stick. He says so he trialled your new system, but Lee is the one favoured to have the first live gig. Yeah, I did trial it with my dad last night, but I did ask you on, Lee, so there you go. Anyway, my dad's in the pub, so he can't complain. So before you go then, Lee, score prediction for the game. Well, let's do 2 score predictions. I don't know if you've thought ahead to the Bournemouth game, but have a little think. So, score prediction against Man City.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go for 0-3.
Yeah, convincing loss.
I am. I just can't see anything other than a defeat, unfortunately. As I say, I'll be, drunk in a gutter if we win on Sunday night.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. But, I think I could see it being something like 3-0 as well. Maybe 2-0, 3-0, something like that. But even with the players they've got out, they're still a really good team, aren't they? It doesn't matter who they put in. And Mahrez looks like he's come back and is in blinding form.
Yeah, they've just got excellent technical players, haven't they? And as I say, once you take those other elements out of the equation, the fans and what have you, it's just it gives City the edge. Yeah.
And then we follow that up with a game away to Bournemouth on Wednesday night. That is live on Sky, by the way, if anyone wants to watch that one. What do you reckon about that game?
I'd be interested to know what the travel arrangements are going to be. To be honest with you, it's a hell of a long way to Bournemouth. Are they going to fly down on the
Yeah,
morning? Are they going to do what Arsenal did and fly down just before kick-off? But Bournemouth
interesting.
struggling for me. I fancy a 2-1 to
Yeah,
us. 2-1 away win.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I mean, that's really another game that I'd like to see us win because I mean, I really think we've got a chance in that one. The way Bournemouth are playing, and it's a prime opportunity for another 3 points in my view.
Yeah,
So,
fancy 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I'll go 2-0 in that one. I'll be confident. Keep that. Lascelles man of the match performance in defence. So there
He's
we
looked
go.
very good. I think somebody was mentioning in the comments earlier they weren't impressed with him. I
Yeah,
think he's looked very solid. I think he's looked very solid. He's looked very fit.
yeah,
He's tidied everything up. I don't agree with the comment that he's hiding behind Fernandez that somebody made earlier on. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Flores has come
I
back
agree.
well.
I agree. And I think all of our defence have they've really been, like someone else said, they've been the highlight this season. Really, they've
Yeah.
just been. If it wasn't for our defence being as solid as they have, there's no way we'd be in the position we are.
It's not our attackers that are going to keep us up, is it?
No, it's not. Not if we put our faith in Joe Linton.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, Lee. I really
No
do
worries. Thank
appreciate
you very
it.
much for having me.
Yeah, great, and I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. So I will
Cheers,
see you
thanks.
later. Thank you to Lee. That was fab. Yeah, what do you lot think about the prediction against Man City and then a prediction against Bournemouth on Wednesday? Jabba Dabba thinks we'll lose 2-1 to Bournemouth. Or do you think Bournemouth will lose 2-1? I can't work your comment out. David Waller 2-1. I'm guessing that's to us, I think you're thinking. Yeah, Andrew's saying City have about 18 brilliant players. And that's the problem. Our squad is like paper thin, isn't it? And theirs isn't. So it's going to be really tough on Sunday. Andrew also making a good point about Bournemouth fighting for their lives, so not an easy game. And I think we did find that against Villa, didn't we? That they were, that Villa looked up for it, and maybe Bournemouth will too. But, maybe I'd still hope that we could go to Bournemouth and get a result. Matthew Atkinson says Man City 2, Newcastle 0, and 2-1 win over Bournemouth. Andrew 3-1 City, 2-2 with Bournemouth. Another draw. But that would take us to 40 points, wouldn't it? Another draw. So that's okay. Keith saying, are you still doing the fan of the week on your show? Yeah, I will. I am still going to be doing that. It's all depends on how much time I've got to kind of record it and edit it. So for the last couple of weeks I haven't, but I do want to keep doing that, and I might make it a bit of a shorter format. But yes, I will be doing the fan thing. If you want to do that, message me on anyone. This is to anyone. Message me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Just volunteer if you're up for being the fan of the week. I'll ask you a few questions about Newcastle United, and then play it out on the live show on a Friday or possibly Saturday, depending on that. Kieran's gone for 2-1 to City. Not confident, but it would be nice if we won. Kian reckons 2-0 against Bournemouth, 1-0 against City. Imagine that. 2 wins. Back-to-back wins. We'll see. Hopefully you're right, Kian. Newcastle to beat Bournemouth 2-1. Jabba Dabba Doo. Peter, who's my player of the year? That's a really good question. I mean, you can't look very far past Saint Maximin. He's been awesome, and I think he's been really vital for us. So I'd probably say him. I might give that a bit more thought, but yeah, Saint Maximin's the one that springs to mind. So there we go. I'm just going to give one more kind of shout out to the competition because it's last sort of 10 minutes or so. So if you want to win these things plus another pin badge, which is of the Newcastle United away kit from 1997-98, you just need to do this. So just message me using the hashtag Ian1000comp, and you can message me privately or you can message me publicly on any of those platforms that you see there. So my YouTube handle there is IanSmithYT. Instagram is the same. And I've got a Facebook group, which I'd love a few more people to join. There's a few people on there who are regularly chatting about football in Newcastle over on Facebook. Just search for Ian Smith on football, and that would be cool. So yeah, you can enter one time on each platform. The closing date and time is full time against Man City. Okay, full time against Man City on Sunday. So an hour game kicks off at, what time does it kick off? Is it 6:30 or something? It's the late kickoff, isn't it? It's the last semi-final. Yeah, 6:30. So about 8:30, 8:15, 8:30, something like that. A few other people chipping in with their player of the year. Dubravka, says Gordon. Yeah, again, I mean, I really rate Dubravka, and okay, maybe a little bit at fault for the Villa goal the other night, but overall, you know, everyone makes mistakes. Quality player. Matthew Atkinson as well. Got to go for Dubravka and Alan St. Maximin and Fernandez. Dubravka consistently brilliant. Yeah, I agree with that. Dubravka, Noah thinks Dubravka's the player of the past 2 seasons. He's been so important, hasn't he? And again, we talk about the defence, but you know that he's part of the defence, and he has been a vital part of it. A lot of people saying Alan St. Maximin, Dubravka. So yeah, a lot of people sort of on that same wavelength. It's got to be one of those two, hasn't it? I think. So just before we go, as well, we've got obviously there's been a few contracts and stuff sorted. So new deals for Manquillo and Carroll. They're staying at the club, which is good. Matty Longstaff's an interesting one. I was meant to ask Lee about Matty Longstaff and I forgot. But what do you think in the chat? Matty Longstaff, do you think he's going to sign this deal? It's interesting that lots of contracts got signed yesterday, but Matty Longstaff only signed a deal until the end of the season. So I don't know what he's playing at. I don't know if the deal that is on the table from Newcastle isn't matching what he's getting from somewhere else, and if he's going to look and take the money rather than stay at Newcastle. I'd be really gutted if we lost him. Not because he might be the best player ever. It's just the fact that you don't know how good he's going to be, and to get rid of him at this stage of his career would just be stupid. So I really do hope the club are trying hard to keep him. I know Steve Bruce has said the club's made him a fantastic offer, but do you trust that Mike Ashley's Newcastle United have given him a fantastic offer? I don't. So it's hard for Matty Longstaff, if that's not true, that the club are painting him possibly in a bad light. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Longstaff's going to stay? Noah's saying Longstaff said he wants to meet the new owners. I've not heard it. I've not sort of read that or seen that, but that could be possible. So maybe he's waiting until the end of the season and seeing if he's part of the plans. Who's making the decisions on the contracts? Peter says Mike or the Saudis. No one knows. I mean, I sort of saw yesterday people saying, "Oh, these contracts will have been passed because was it Manquillo who signed like 4 years or something?" I think that some people were saying that, you know, they wouldn't have signed those contracts without talking to the potential new owners, and they would have sort of agreed that that was okay. But is that true? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, Lee Charnley making the decisions, which doesn't fill you with hope, does it, Andrew? Lee says it'd be a sickener to see him line up against us for Watford. Yeah, because of course he's linked to an Italian team, isn't it? Who are then linked with Watford, so he'd end up going on loan to Watford. But he's currently no more than a squad player. Yeah, he isn't. He is no more than a squad player, but it's just one of those classic Newcastle things, isn't it? Where how many good young players have we let go over the years? So many. Just keep hold of them and give them 2 or 3 years within the club and see if they develop. And if they develop, brilliant. And if they don't, sell them. But to get rid of him now, what is he, 19? Is he? I think 19, 18, 19. He's really young. You've got to keep him at the club. He's a local lad. You can't tell me that even if someone in Italy offered him more money, that he wouldn't want to stay at Newcastle at that age. I don't know. Mark Parker, at his age, you need to think of his career over money. Yeah, which is basically what I've just said. Yeah, and I agree with that completely. It's on One Football. Okay, Keith thinks he's got a bad feeling. Longstaff won't sign the deal. Club have left it too long. Reminds me of when Rafa left last year. So yeah, I mean, he signed a mini extension to the end, obviously because the season's been extended. So he's signed that to the end of this season, but we'll see, won't we? I don't know. If he Lee's obviously adding. If he leaves, I think he will live to regret it. I agree too. I think it would be sensible on his account. Just give it another two couple of years at the club, until you're at a point where you want to be playing regular first team football at the highest level you can. Talking about Dubravka, Gordon Smith saying that he's underrated in the Premier League, and Peter Robson saying he's up there with Given and Krull for him. I think Dubravka is right up there with one of the best keepers we've ever had, and I know some people don't agree with that, but I do. He's had a pin badge made after him, which he's got to be good if that's happened. So yeah, intersex clothing. Have you had any good young players? Yeah, well, we're kind of just talking about Matty Longstaff really. He's young, and we all want him to stay, but at the moment he's kind of not signing a new deal that's on the table, so we're kind of a bit worried about that. Jabba Dabba Doo, I would say at Newcastle if I had a choice and on minimum wage. I guess it's easy for us to say that as fans, but I take your point. I would stay at Newcastle for less money than going to Italy as a 19-year-old. Definitely. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. So there we go. Right. Very quickly, because I bothered to make this earlier. Very quickly, before I go, last sort of quiz thing for the night. Who are these two? Who are these two players? Who are these? Let's see. Mike Hooper, Peter, was dreadful keeper. Yeah, he was not a good keeper. If you remember Mike Hooper. Definitely Shearer. That's the easy one. Who's with him? Lee. Lee's the first one to get it. Yeah, well done, Lee. Gillespie and Shearer. Yeah, lots of people getting it now. Obviously, Shearer's obvious. There you go. So there you go. I didn't want to waste that because I spent time making it earlier. So there you go. Right. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Thank you to Lee for coming on. A few technical issues, but we got there in the end, so really appreciate you coming on, Lee. And don't forget to enter the competition for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Thank you very much for subscribing. To everyone who subscribes, if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome. We're going to keep trying to grow this channel and do more live streams. I'm going to be doing more watch-alongs to some of the Newcastle games in the future. And yeah, just thank you for joining me tonight. Have a lovely weekend, and I will probably be in touch with some of you during the Man City game. See you later.